CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN in the shop.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clash with Chicken. I am your host, The Chicken. Today we're going to be talking about Project Rise, and what I want to talk about today, the reason why I want to make this video, is to talk about some of the heroes that we saw, well, maybe not necessarily heroes, but some of the characters we saw in Clash Heroes as little snippets or little sneak peeks or teasers, whatever you want to call it, things like that, because we never actually saw them in the game, right? And to see if they could work or how they could potentially be ported over into Project Rise. Now, my hope is that Project Rise is still Clash Heroes, which it essentially is. I mean, choose your hero. It says it right there. It says it right there. Now, again, I say this in every single video that I make. Why they changed the title of Clash Heroes to Project Rise, not sure. I guess they really wanted to drive home the fact that it was kind of a rebranded version of Clash Heroes, and it was different. Maybe to get away from the staleness of having a game that was, announced over 3 years ago. That I understand, but I don't know. Clash Heroes just, it rolls off the tongue. It makes a lot of sense. Anyway, we're not talking about titles today. We're talking about troops. We're talking about characters. So, if you guys did not know, we talked about this troop, this one specifically, a lot, when we made a bunch of our, kind of speculative Clash Hero videos. It was actually over on the other channel. But now that we moved over here, this is what we're talking about. So, the Explorer troop. So this was called the Explorer in Clash Heroes, and we didn't really know that much better. We didn't know much better. Now, when we initially kind of were talking about Clash Heroes and what the game could be and stuff, it seemed like it was more open world. So it seemed like having a character like this called the Explorer kind of made a lot of sense. If you're going to be obviously exploring and, running around and leveling up and that kind of thing, this troop, would technically make a lot of sense. So how would you port that over into Project Rise being like a dungeon crawler, roguelite, type of game? And I think this goes back to some of the feedback that I had and I shared with you guys earlier on, right after the playtest that we did a few weeks ago. And I was saying that the gameplay was good, the gameplay was cool, which I think is the purpose, again, of the alpha test, so I don't want to critique that, but I'd like to see more immersion. I'd like to see more world immersion. I'd like to see more, of a hub world, that kind of thing, to really just make you feel like you are a part of the Clash universe, which I think is a big draw of this game, which is really cool. So an Explorer type troop, like this character, could really fit into that, I feel like, because they could be, I don't know, they could be like a shop owner, they could be like the person that greets you as you come into the town kind of thing, or is like your main, like one of the main characters of that village or whatever. I don't know. It might just be a chicken thing, but I think that the game would really benefit from something like that because it just makes it feel, I don't know, like everything has more substance. Like there's more to it than just leveling up and running around in the in the actual gameplay, which again is great. And my experience with the playtest was awesome. But I think it would be really interesting to see if they could incorporate these characters in sort of like a main base or a hub world or a place you go back to like buy stuff and level up and collect loot in the game, like special types of loot to go back, and then you can get more abilities, you can get more. If you have some sort of skill tree, you can upgrade that. I think it'd be really interesting. And I think that would also fix a part of the game that's kind of broken in the perks. Because when you're playing the game, you guys saw, or if you played it, the perks would just randomly show up. It's like everything stops, whatever you're doing stops, you stop in the middle of an attack, you forget where you are, and the perks show up. And it's really, like, it's just... I don't know. It's kind of clunky. It's kind of clunky is how I would describe it, because it stops the game, stops the flow. It's really weird. Then your characters go through turns of picking stuff, so it doesn't really feel. It feels rushed. It's just not a good system. It's not a good system. So they had something like that where it's like you go do your level, then you go back to the hub world within your team, and you can still have the same system. Like everyone's got to hit go to the next level. The only problem with that, in my eyes, is that it's a mobile game, so it's got to be it's got to be quick. It's got to be, you can play 5 minutes on the toilet and get, a lot of progress in. So, yeah, that's the first troop, is the Explorer. And the second troop actually goes into this really well. So we can see this was the perk screen that I was talking about, where you pick, like, your abilities and stuff. And, I get it. It's all about speed. It's a mobile game. That's why they got a timer on it. It's like you got to go. If you're not playing, then, you're losing player retention, whatever, things like that. But I think you can get more of it by doing this really properly. So I don't like that. Now, our next character that we're going to talk about is the chef. So this is the chef from Clash Heroes. I don't know why I keep selecting the wrong one. I can't click on him. So this is the chef that used to be with Clash Heroes. Now, again, how you can port him into the game, I feel like comes back to exactly what we just said. If they're able to make some kind of hub world, or if they're able to, he's a chef. You bring him stuff, you bring him, different types of things that you collect in the game, and he makes you special potions. Like, that's really the only way I can see him working. Now, maybe if we're talking about on offense, or if we're talking about actually using him in the game as his own individual hero, which we didn't talk about with the Explorer, because that could go in a million different ways. I don't know. We can talk about that too, I guess. But the chef could be interesting because you're playing in a team of 3, right? So the chef could be the guy that he's throwing out different types of abilities. He's got a base attack that doesn't do much, but maybe when you're around him, you get like an HP buff, or you get an attack buff, depending on the different types of potions that he's using. A million different ways. When I see the chef, I feel like Pam in Brawl Stars. Like, a steady base attack that doesn't do a ton of damage, but has like a lot of healing capabilities, or something like that. There's a million different ways you could go with that. And if we go back and look at the Explorer in terms of the attacking, she's got that rope in her hands, so maybe her ability is, she's got a base attack. Maybe she shoots a bow and arrow, although she'd be pretty similar to the Archer. She actually looks, if we go back to the Explorer, she kind of looks like the Archer. So maybe she doesn't need a bow and arrow, but maybe she can throw, like, I don't know, throwing knives or something, and then have the rope to, like, move around really quickly, or to grab pots or whatever that are on the other side of the that are over a gap or something like that, pull them close. So it could work. It could work, right? Anything could work in theory, but I think it's fun to talk about these kind of things, and especially if they made something for Clash Heroes and it's the same game, then I think it's it's not crazy to think that this stuff is still in the game code somewhere, and it could pop up at some point. So I think it's interesting. You guys let me know what you think. Would you want to see characters like this added to the game? Do you think it could mean more? Do you think it could mean nothing? I want to hear your thoughts. And you want to stay updated on everything Project Rise, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to use that code CHICKEN in the shop. I do appreciate you watching, and we will catch you next week, guys. Chicken out. Back.